At 90 years old, Margaret had lived through more than most could even imagine. A proud veteran, she'd served her country when the world was at war. Yet the battle she faced that day wasn't against an enemy she could see or hear. It was one of cruelty and disrespect. Margaret had always carried herself with a dignity that commanded respect, but that morning, as she was walking through the small town's market, she was targeted. A group of bikers, loud and brash, surrounded her, laughing and jeering. "What are you doing here, Grandma?" One of them mocked, and another added, "Shouldn't you be in a home somewhere?" They pushed past her, knocking into her fragile body as if she didn't matter. The humiliation stung, but what hurt even more was the realization that she was powerless to stop it. The bikers were twice her size and filled with an arrogance she couldn't reason with. They didn't care about her past, her sacrifices, or the years she'd spent building a life. They saw only the frail body of an elderly woman who could be easily tossed aside. As the bikers rode off, leaving her standing in the street, Margaret felt something deep within her shift. But it wasn't anger, it was something else, something powerful, something she had learned long ago during her years of service. She wasn't going to let this go. With trembling hands, Margaret reached for her phone. She didn't call a family member, she didn't call the police. No, she made one call, an unexpected one. The phone rang a few times before the voice on the other end picked up. "Hello?" It was a deep, authoritative voice she knew well. "General Thompson," she said, "it's Margaret. I need your help." The line went silent for a moment before the general responded, his tone changing to one of utmost seriousness. "Margaret, is everything okay?" Margaret took a deep breath. "I've been disrespected by some punks in my town. I don't want them arrested, but I need you to send a message. A message they will never forget." General Thompson knew exactly who she was referring to. The bikers. He didn't question her. He didn't need to. The general had served with her in the same unit years ago. He knew her strength and her resolve. Within hours, Margaret's phone rang again, but this time it was different. The bikers had no idea what was coming. In the dead of night, a group of military personnel arrived in town. The bikers were startled to see a convoy of military trucks roll through the streets, a reminder of the discipline and strength that existed in places they never expected it. And then, they saw Margaret standing in the middle of the road, her eyes steely and calm. The leader of the bikers stepped forward, his face twisted in a grin, thinking it was some sort of joke. But when he saw the men and women behind her, real veterans, like Margaret, his grin faltered. Margaret stood tall, her small frame emanating an aura of authority, of respect, earned over decades. "You think you can bully me?" she said, her voice quiet but firm. "You think because I'm old, I'm weak? You don't know who I am or what I've done." The bikers, for the first time, saw the fear and regret flash in their eyes. The people they'd mocked were no ordinary targets. They were warriors. "If you ever touch me again, or anyone else in this town, I won't hesitate to make sure you never forget the lesson I'm teaching you today," Margaret continued. The leader of the bikers, his bravado gone, stepped back. He didn't speak, didn't even look her in the eye. The bikers, ashamed and shaken, quietly got back on their bikes and rode off into the night. Margaret had won without raising a hand. The true power wasn't in physical strength, it was in the respect and authority that came from living a life of integrity. And in that moment, the young generation of boys, girls, men, and women who witnessed it learned something unforgettable. It wasn't just about standing up to bullies, it was about knowing who you are, knowing your worth, and never letting anyone take that from you. Margaret had reminded them all of the quiet, unwavering strength that comes with age and experience. In the end, it wasn't about the bikers or the disrespect they had shown. It was about something far more powerful: resilience. Margaret proved that no matter how old you get, No one should ever underestimate your strength.